In the gloomy and labyrinthine streets of late 19th century London, a series of horrifying events unfolded that would forever be etched into history as the tale of Jack the Ripper. It was the year 1888, and the destitute district of Whitechapel was about to become the epicenter of a reign of terror that would captivate the world's imagination. August 31st, 1888, the double event begins. The first canonical victim, Mary Ann Nichols, was discovered in the early hours of August 31st. Mary Ann, a 42-year-old prostitute, was found on the cobblestones of Bucks Row, now Durward Street. Her throat had been brutally slashed twice, so deeply that her spinal cord was nearly severed. The horrifying detail that gripped the public's attention was the surgical precision of the cuts, suggesting that the perpetrator possessed anatomical knowledge. The gruesome discovery sent shockwaves through the city, and the legend of Jack the Ripper began to take shape. September 8, 1888, the gruesome discovery continues. Only a week later, another victim, Annie Chapman, met a similarly grisly fate. Annie, known as Dark Annie due to her dark hair and eyes, was found in the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street. Her throat was deeply cut, and her abdomen was opened with a horrifying expertise. The removal of her uterus added an unsettling dimension to the brutality of the crime. The police were baffled by the Ripper's ability to strike in the darkness without leaving a trace, intensifying the sense of fear and paranoia that gripped the East End. September 30th, 1888, a sinister letter arrives. As the panic escalated, the police found themselves grappling with an elusive killer. On September 30th, a chilling letter arrived at the Central News Agency, postmarked from various locations, and signed with the ominous moniker Jack the Ripper. The letter declared the writer's intention to continue his reign of terror, sending shockwaves through the city and deepening the sense of dread that had taken hold. October 9, 1888, the double murder of Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes. The dark narrative took an even more sinister turn on the night of October 9th, when the Ripper committed a double murder. Elizabeth Stride, known as Long Liz due to her tall stature, was found in Dutfield's yard with her throat cut. Stride's body displayed fewer mutilations compared to previous victims, leading some to speculate that the killer was interrupted during the act. However, in the same early hours, the Ripper's brutality reached a new zenith with the murder of Catherine Eddowes. Her throat was slashed, her face was brutally mutilated, and her abdomen was horrifically eviscerated. The removal of her kidney indicated a level of anatomical knowledge that both baffled and terrified investigators. This gruesome night became known as the double event, signaling a macabre shift in the Ripper's methodology. November 9, 1888, the final victim, Mary Jane Kelly. The crescendo of the Ripper's rampage reached its horrifying climax with the murder of Mary Jane Kelly. Mary Jane, a 25-year-old Irish prostitute, was found in her squalid apartment on 13 Miller's Court. The level of mutilation was so extreme that her remains were barely recognizable. Her face was hacked beyond recognition, and her body had been entirely disemboweled, with her organs strewn around the room. The scene inside the small apartment was a nightmarish tableau of gore, amplifying the terror that had gripped the Whitechapel community. It was as if the Ripper had descended into a frenzy of violence, transcending his previous acts of brutality. This deeply unsettling murder left an indelible mark on both the investigation and the collective memory of the case. The investigation and speculations. Amid the chaos and terror, the police struggled to make headway. Suspects were questioned and released, theories abounded, but the Ripper's identity remained elusive. One prime suspect was Montague John Druitt, a barrister and teacher who was found dead in the Thames River a month after the Kelly murder. in December 1888. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, some believed he could be the Ripper, speculating that he might have taken his own life to escape the weight of his crimes. Another tantalizing theory implicated Sir William Gull, Queen Victoria's physician. It was suggested that the killings were part of an elaborate conspiracy to cover up a royal scandal involving Prince Albert Victor, Duke of Clarence and Avondale. However, there is little substantive evidence to support this theory, and it remains a speculative and controversial aspect of the case. The legacy of Jack the Ripper. As time passed, the Ripper's reign of terror subsided, and the gruesome murders faded into history. Yet the legend of Jack the Ripper endured, captivating the public's imagination for generations. Books, movies, and documentaries continue to explore the enigma of the Whitechapel murders, delving into the tantalizing web of theories and speculations surrounding the true identity of one of history's most infamous killers. And so, the shadow of Jack the Ripper lingers, a haunting reminder that even in the heart of civilization, darkness can emerge, leaving behind a legacy of fear and mystery that endures to this day.